Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Aaron Maurer. We're here with some virtual office hours here on Wednesday morning, April 15th. I'm sure many of you are either underway working with students or trying to get ready for the day or navigating your children or whatever the new routine of this new normal happens to be. So what I wanted to do, even though if people pop in, we'll definitely take their questions, but just to prompt this, I wanted to record just so you could kind of see a modeled example of how I record Google Meeting works. But I just wanted to show you a few things, go over a couple ideas and topics during this time, and if no one shows up, then we will just call it a day. But what I wanted to do here is at least just give you some food for thought. A lot of you are joining into the classroom. We've had a lot of new people join just in the last day or two, and we're starting to get a lot of great conversations. A lot of you are leaving really good private comments. A lot of you are starting to get engaged in the content. I know there's a lot of questions. We have people from a wide range of awareness. Now, I'm not going to say capability because we're all quite capable, but we're just drinking from the fire hose right now, right? So there's so much that we're trying to wrap our head around, and most importantly is just how do we get quality learning with our students and then trying to navigate all the tech that comes along with it. So hopefully this course, just a couple of things to explain for you up front before maybe we dive into some ideas is that this is an ongoing Google Classroom. This is designed not to be a step-by-step, do this tip, then this tip, then this tip, because we have people at all different playing fields. We have some people that are really interested in Google Meets, maybe some that are really interested in Google Classroom, maybe it's how to organize their Google Drive, maybe it's just little productivity tips or tricks like how do I change the color in different calendars in my Google Calendar. Well, we have a wide gamut of things. More importantly, we have a lot of people that just don't know what they don't know. And so it's hard to ask questions. It's hard to seek learning when I'm not even sure what in the world it is I'm supposed to be using and learning because I'm not even sure what's available. And so the goal of the Google Classroom, for those that are joining, and I really appreciate you coming in, it's just every day, every other day, depending on the pace and the questions and the conversations that are happening, is I'm just going to leave a quick little tip. And it's your decision to determine like, ooh, I need to learn more about that. I'm going to check out the video, the resources, watch it, apply it, whatever it might be. Or you go, I already know that, or I don't need it, or this bald, tall, ugly guy, man, he's just out on cloud nine, not meeting our needs. So you have the choice and the power. Don't feel like you have to do every single thing. I'm posting as questions and assignments, not for you to think you have to check it off, but for you to just see how a classroom works, for you to see the stuff on your calendar, to see the classwork, the flow patterns as a student, because you are a student within this classroom. With that being said, one of the tips that we posted earlier is I think it's going to be really important that you create a test Google Classroom and to then add yourself as a student, so having a secondary email account. Now, a lot of you are running into some restrictions within your district's domain. So a lot of you had headaches just even getting into this Google Classroom because this is an AEA classroom and not your school district as a Bettendorf or a Bettendorf school district or a PD or a Northeast. And so you have to ask your IT to kind of whitelist to get those permissions. Same thing might happen if you're using a personal Gmail account. So just one more thing to kind of navigate. It's done for security. It's done to protect your students. And so while it is a little cumbersome maybe for some of you up front, realize it's done with the best of intentions for security and privacy of your students. And so that gives you a playground to test ideas out before you go launch them with your students. So with that being said, one of the things that, as we look at this Google Meet here, and I'm going to jump into this chat, one of the things, because I am recording, I have over to the side, you can't see my desktop screen at this point, but I have a series of canned comments that I use when I do these, because in office hours, people can join at any time. We started this, the recording's underway. We need to make sure that everyone knows that the recording is happening. And so when you go to hit record on a Google Meeting, let me see if I can flip my screen around here and get this so you can see what it is. Let's do this, my entire screen here. All right, so sorry there, I had to close out and come back in. I had to change the permissions of my desktop to allow my Chrome browser to have access to my screen. So let me flip this back over here now. So now you can actually see my screen. I'm going to click this here and share. So what you're going to see here is over here I have a series of just a couple canned comments, and I'll add more to this. For this particular one, I just wanted to show this particular one here. And so as we talked about in the Google meeting, when people are joining into the Google class, even when they join late, we need to make sure that they're aware that the recording is taking place. This is a privacy, a respect, just treating people right. And so what I will do in the chat as people enter into the meeting is I will just paste this. I'm not going to retype it every time, but I can just paste it. So now they realize, right, that lets them know we're being recorded. If they have a question, to post it in the chat so they're not jumping in and interrupting any sort of learning that's taking place. And just make sure that they mute their mic. Now, we know when we work with students that this is not going to always be perfect, but when we're working with our PLCs or other teams, this is just good stuff to have available. So you could have a series of canned statements or comments that you could use over and over down here. I'm just using notes on my Mac, but you could have a Google Doc that you just use time and time again. And so every time you're running these meetings, if you find yourself repeating stuff, just make it a canned comment, then you can, boom, just paste it right in there while you're working. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. And so that's just one thing that I think is important as you're working through this in terms of productivity, especially with Google Meets, is having that option. And then people can then chat and leave their comments over in the chat screen, and you're going to be in good shape. Another thing that I think is important for us to consider when we're using a lot of these tools, and a lot of you are having conversations around it, is just making sure that we're getting the right people in. So in this case of this Google Classroom, it's AEA. So we have people coming in with all sorts of different email addresses, different school districts and personal. And so the default with Google Meets is anybody that's outside of your domain has to ask to join. And so I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how this works. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here in a minute. And I'm going to show you what happens when I go entire screen here. Okay. So now I'm going to go over to my student account. It's my personal Gmail account. And when I click on the Google Meet link or go to load that up, it's asking me from the student side, are you ready to join? I have to ask to join. So this is just another security setting that's going to allow you to be able to see what it is that people are joining in. Just keeps strangers from joining your Google Meets. And so as we do that, go ahead and ask to join. And I should, there it is. It shows that someone wants to join this meeting. It tells me who it is. In this case, I know it's me. I can either deny or admit. So this just allows you to make sure that proper people are getting in these Google Meets so you have some control. Now, I believe if they are in your domain, they are not going to have to go through this. Now, what it tells me from the student side, and I'm actually going to, let me screenshot this on my other computer. When I joined now as a student or participant, it gave me an option that told me the call is being recorded. And I'll put that here in the video when I go to edit this. And it's now telling me, do I want to leave or do I want to join now? And so now when I join now, it now knows what's happening. Okay, so now you can see this is one of the tools that we talked about earlier, and one of the tips here, I believe it was tip number, let me look it up here. Gosh, you got twice the ugly on your screen right now. I'm really sorry for that. It is tip #004, the Google Meet Grid View, which a lot of you are probably already using. It's an extension that gives me this option right here. And let's see if I can get to present mode so you can see my screen again. I just want to show you this. So this screen right here, it gives you this waffle grid. And now what I can do is I can change a couple things. I can have the grid view by default, meaning that as soon as I'm in a meet and people start to join, it's going to automatically go to grid view. Kind of like Zoom. If you use Zoom and you can see everybody, there's only 2 people in this call, so it's not a true grid. I can include myself or take myself out. And then this highlight speaker one is really nice because as I'm speaking, you can see the box. It's right now I got this nice sign around me, lets me know who's talking. And then I can then turn these different things on as well. So it gives you a chance to kind of play around with that, which if you're doing small group or class instruction, you can see everybody. And I know my daughter, who's a 3rd grader, loves this grid view. I know last night it wasn't working on our device. I think we tried to update some stuff. She didn't have it, and she was not happy that she couldn't see everybody at once. So not only this is helpful for you as teachers, but the kids love it too. They want to be able to see everybody. We're trying to make it as socially empowering as we can without too much chaos. And I will just say here again, God bless all you teachers that are trying to handle a class virtually, because I sit and watch my daughter, who's 3rd grade, and all those kids, and there's so much energy, so much excitement, and just God bless your souls with that. So because I don't know how you have enough patience to get through. I know the kids are eager, they're excited, they love to see you, but man, that is not an easy journey by any means. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, and then you can just see we're right back to where we are. So I'm going to go ahead and just X out of my teacher view there. There we go. It lets me know now that the person has left the meeting and we are in good shape. So the last thing that maybe I'll share, and then we're approaching, 20 minutes into this virtual office hours, but I think it's plenty of time for anybody that wanted to join, is a lot of you are enjoying the private comments option that we're running. I'm going to make this a tip here in a future video. And so hopefully what you're finding out as we're going through this is while I'm giving you tips, I'm also trying to show you other little nuances without directly calling it out. And so a lot of you like the idea of having a student demo account and a test classroom account. I showed that in a previous video and people like that, so then I did make that a tip. This private comment one is another one that a lot of you are like, I really like this. And so I'll make it a tip as well. So a lot of times I'm doing things, and if you like those, let me know, because if it's resonating with you, then I know I need to make a video to help call it out for other people. But I'm going to go into the classroom here. And I just want to make sure that I'm going to do this right, where I can not show too much of other people's information here. So let me do this. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And hopefully all this is really working out well when I go back to edit this video for you. All right, and I'm going to go into our Google Classroom. And hopefully you can see this. All right, and so as we talk a lot about this, I know when I'm working with my wife right now and trying to learn and grasp the Google Classroom, the stream can become quite cumbersome, right? There's just lots of stuff in there. So I try to tell her not worrying about the stream so much. The only thing that's really helpful is the due dates, if you have those as a teacher, and for a student, because they show up over here. And then you can go to view all, and you can see all that stuff. And then, from a teacher side of things, this is a teacher view. I can see how things are progressing as we go through this here. And then I can go to the reviewed, and I don't have any reviewed work because we haven't actually turned in any sort of stuff. It's just been questions and checklist, but that would be there as well. From a student, it would show them all the work that they have to do, grayed out and darkened and that sort of thing. But what I really want to show here that a lot of you are liking is the idea of the private comment. So if I go back here, let's see here. All right, and if I go down to, let's see, I think it was number 4 here. I'm going to go to this assignment. When I click on the classwork, and this is what I like about posting questions and assignments, we can organize everything by topic, by week, whatever it is that we want. It just makes life a lot easier for, I think, everybody to find stuff. This was the Google Meet Grid View extension we were talking about, actually. You're going to notice in here that I've done a couple of things. I've asked you I did not want to do that. I asked you to complete the question that's in the assignment that's posted, and to send me a private message letting me know your thoughts. And if you want me to reply, start with coffee. So this lets me know as a teacher, people who are just leaving me comments to share their ideas, or people that are leaving comments that need help. And this is really, really helpful, especially when I go and start to check the submissions through my Gmail account. If I see the first thing is coffee in all caps, I know that that person needs help, and I can make a note to make sure that I respond to them. And if they don't, then I just know they're just sharing ideas. So it's time for me to read, process, and then move on. This helps them be very specific if they actually truly want a response, and it helps me as a teacher try to navigate, because I'm sure with you working with students, you're going to get all sorts of comments from all over the board. And how do you start to sift through what needs a response and what doesn't? So this was the question that I posed, but you can see here as a student, all of my students were over here that are in this class, and I can see that in my test one, I just wrote a comment, just a test. This was the private comment that was submitted. It doesn't say coffee, but I can go in here and I can see then exactly which option this student, in this case me, posted, and I can see the private comment here, just a test. I know I don't have to respond, but I could respond right here if I wanted to, and they would get an update that I received that. So a lot of you are liking this idea, and so it's not something that you have to turn on or off. It's automatically in there as a student. So I believe if I switch over to my student account here. Okay, so this is my student account. So let's check this out. All right, so let's do this one that I haven't done anything with. I could go into the details of this assignment, and this is how the students access it. And I'll make this a video as well, so you can go back and have to watch this whole entire office hours. But in the assignment, I have to go directly into the assignment. I have to view the assignment like I just did. Here's everything I need, and you're going to see as a student, here's the comment. Send me a private comment if you have any comments, questions, or tips, and then start with coffee if you want me to reply. So as they watch the video, whatever they want to do, they can mark it as done. They could add a screenshot. They could add their assignment here. But then here's the private comment from a student. And they could just say, hello, right? Or they could say, I need help. So I could start with coffee, all right? And I could just say, like, I still don't understand. Can you help me out? All right, so when I submit this as a student, I'm going to send that private comment. I'll go ahead and mark this as done. Okay, so I can see this here, and all the teacher comments, everything will show up here for the student. So let me X out of here and go into my Gmail. I'm going to show you what happens from a teacher lens, and then we'll be done here. So now I'm going to get an email. I'm not going to show you the actual email, but it will tell me that Aaron Maurer has made a comment. I'll screenshot this and add this in here just so you can see it. But I don't want you to see everything in my email for privacy reasons. But here's what I get. When I open up the email from the comment, it says Aaron Maurer added a private comment. Here's what I get. It tells me what assignment it was posted to. And I see here right away that it says coffee. And now I know that I need to reply. So I could go in here and I could reply directly to the Google comment. So now from a teacher perspective, I can click on that reply. It'll take me right to the tip. All right, so then it takes me here. Obviously, I didn't turn in any work for this one, so this is blank, but I can see this comment right here. Coffee, I still don't understand. Can you help me out? Now, I could go through and respond. I could say, hey, let's find a time to meet, come to office hours, let's work through this. Whatever it is, I could respond to that particular student. So this is just a nice little tip. Not everybody wants their stuff blasted all over the stream. A lot of you might have comments and stuff turned off. And so the private comments is not something you enable or disable. They are there. You just need to help teacher or students or whoever you're working with understand that it's available for them to use. So I will try to make that a little more clear in an upcoming video for you. But here we are, office hours now. We've been going for 30 minutes. I think that's plenty for you to go. I want to thank you for joining. If there's questions or things that you have, remember in the classroom, there's a Google form. You can submit those questions, and then I will go through to do my best to research, dig, and help you find the solutions to that. Do plan on having office hours next week. And so if you're watching this and you would like office hours and these time slots don't work, and there's a time slot that does work, please let me know. Shoot me an email, leave a comment in the office hour thing that was posted. I'll probably send out a form anyways, just to gather information, because I don't know your schedules. I didn't know who was going to join, if any. And so I just want to make sure we have an opportunity to do some of that networking and collaboration and bring some of you together and just talk through stuff while we have the opportunity. I know you are screened out. I know you are Googled out. I know you are just remote learning and teaching out, if that's a thing. I don't know. I just said it. And so the fact that you're in this course, I appreciate it. If you want to meet, I also appreciate it. I also know time is precious, especially here, being married to a teacher and trying to navigate 3 children in elementary, middle school, and high school with all their workloads and trying to create this new routine and schedule. It's hard. It's hard. So I'm thinking of you all. My heart goes out to all of you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're exceptional people. We need this. This is an opportunity for people to really realize the importance of education. And any little part I can play help making your life easier to be more productive, I'm glad to do so. So without any more wisdoms, rants, elevator speeches, I wish you a happy rest of the week. It's hump day. We made it. We got a few more days. I'm going to enjoy my coffee mug, and I look forward to further conversation in the Google Classroom. And don't forget, if you want to test out the Discord, there is a channel there as well. We can do just real-time chats and conversations. So, all right, my friends, as always, remember, stay awesome. Peace.